If this tiny change had happened for this episode, it's likely that David Tennant would never have been cast as the 10th Doctor. This actor, who is excellent in his portrayal of the third series villain, is actually the real-life descendant of Charles Dickens. Hello and welcome back to Where's the Bandwagon. My name is Will, and The Unquiet Dead, while it may not be on the top of everyone's list of best episodes, it still has its many secrets, Easter eggs, and lots of references. So for this breakdown, we've gone through the episode and the many online resources to bring you the most interesting facts about this episode, which sees our first trip into the past. I also want to trial doing some giveaways, so stick around to the end of the video to find out what that's all about. Also, drop a like if you enjoy this content and consider subscribing to support our videos. Let's get to it. Long before the script writing process started, Russell T Davies came up with a rough concept of what every episode in the series would be about. The Unquiet Dead episode was designed to continue to introduce all the aspects of Doctor Who, with present-day Earth threat in episode 1, aliens, the future and space in episode 2, and finally the past and historical figures in episode 3.
Episode 3 is designed to show off, the range of the programme, to go back in history. And I decided the template for the entire series right at the beginning of it.
This episode would be the first of the revived series not to be written by Russell T Davies himself. He hired a Mr. Mark Gatiss as the scriptwriter. Mark Gatiss is a prominent figure in Doctor Who. You may recognise Gatiss as the face of many characters in the revived series, and he has numerous other Doctor Who based records to his name, such as acting alongside 9 of the 13 actors who have played the Doctor. We talk a lot more about him throughout this breakdown.
It seems so unreal. I never really thought it was happening. It seems like a strange dream, because I've waited, honestly, all my life to do this. And I was quite overwhelmed for a few moments. I had a few tears. It was like, I got the kind of Saturday night feeling again. First time, I don't know how long, it just felt amazing. And it was not only I was watching Doctor Who being made, I was watching my Doctor Who being made.
The first shot of the episode shows Sneed lighting the gas lamps in the wall. Gas lights would be an important aspect of the episode and are shown throughout. This indicates to the viewer that we are in the past and also shows that gaslighting is commonplace, resulting in a perfect place for the Gelth to travel freely. We are introduced to Gabriel Sneed. The role of Sneed was initially written for one Mr. David Tennant, however he was later changed to an older character, with Mark Gatiss personally suggesting Alan David for the role, as Gatiss had grown up watching the actor. This could have been a significant turning point in Doctor Who if Tennant had been cast as Sneed, because if this had happened, David Tennant would likely never have been cast as the 10th Doctor. Now it is true that actors in the Doctor Who universe have gone on to play other significant roles later in the series, most notably Peter Capaldi and even Eve Miles in this episode. However, Peter Capaldi regenerated into the Doctor a full 5 years and 3.5 seasons after his appearance in Doctor Who, whereas if Tennant had appeared as Sneed in this episode, he would have also regenerated into the Doctor in the same season. You can easily imagine Russell T Davies not hiring him for this to not confuse the viewers. This is the first of the revived series to have an opening scene that doesn't include Rose. However, this was not the original plan. You see, in the shooting scripts, you can see that the original first scene took place in the TARDIS. There were a lot of other changes throughout the episode that we will explore. The corpse of Mrs. Peace comes to life and attacks Mr. Redpath, killing him. We would later learn that the Gelth kill him because they need dead bodies in order to survive in this world. Mr. Sneed comes in and, in a calm voice, says, "Oh no." This shows that Sneed has experienced this sort of stuff before. His and Gwyneth's dialogue throughout this episode is calm and not fazed by this supernatural event. As we learn more about Sneed and his motivations, we get to know the character is always looking for profit and will put up with these ghostly happenings for his business.
Mind you, truth be told, it's been good for business. Just what people expect from a gloomy old trade like mine.
Mrs. Peace knocks out Sneed, smashes through the coffin and is off. These powerful actions show us that whatever is happening to this old lady, her body is getting stronger. This is similar to how this scene shows us that the nanogenes are strengthening the child's body in the Doctor dances. We get this one long shot of Mrs. Peace walking towards the camera. The visuals, makeup and sound really make this scene terrifying. This scene scared the hell out of me as a child. The sounds of the Gelth are fantastic, but unfortunately I couldn't find anything behind the scenes wise on how the sound design was created. The makeup and production team had long discussions about how far they could take the horror of the dead bodies. The makeup artists wanted to do more, but ultimately they couldn't take it too far as it is a show for all ages.
I'm used to playing terrible old bags, actually. Not quite as terrible as this, mine.
More glamorous. It'd be great to scare the grandchildren anyway. You won't want, at least you won't get...
I do that anyway.
Yeah. At least you get out of paying pocket money. We can't really make her look too bad, even though we have, because I suppose it's still supposed to be going out for kids and stuff. But, you know, we can push it a little bit these days, so we couldn't have anything falling off her, no ear gone or half an eye or anything like that.
The name of her character, by the way, Mrs. Peace, is a reference to the Victoria-era murder called Charles Peace. This episode's writer, Mark Gatiss, had written Doctor Who dramas and novels long before the show's reincarnation. He would also go on to write the 50th anniversary and Adventure in Space and Time docudrama. Throughout his career, he has written many historical stories, which made him an ideal candidate for the scriptwriter of this story. Gatiss's historical writing is more evident when you review the other episodes he has written for Doctor Who, including The Idiot's Lantern, Victory of the Daleks, Cold War, The Crimson Horror, Robot of Sherwood, and The Empress of Mars, all of which feature historical stories or eras. As well as being an established and decorated writer for the likes of Sherlock, he has appeared as an actor in many high-profile shows, including Game of Thrones, Good Omens alongside David Tennant,
Sorry, consecrated ground. Oh, it's like being a bitch in bare feet.
and as the smart sibling in Sherlock.
I am the smart one.
I used to think I was an idiot.
His acting ability would be utilised in Doctor Who, initially as the antagonist, Professor Lazarus, and then the voice of Danny Boy.
Danny Boy to the doctor! Danny Boy to the doctor!
Give him hell, Danny boy!
He also had a brief appearance as Gantok, and finally appeared as the captain in Twice Upon a Time. His contribution to the show has earned him many unique records, including being the first Doctor Who writer to have a large speaking role in the show, of which he has 2, and he is the only other writer other than Stephen Moffat to write in every season of the Moffat era. We see the Doctor enlisting Rose's help to fly the TARDIS.
Hold that one down!
I'm holding this one down!
Well, hold them both down!
We would see Rose flying the TARDIS again in Journey's End.
Rose, that, there.
1860! How does 1860 sound?
What happened in 1860?
I don't know. Let's find out.
This shows us that for this trip they aren't going to a specific event like they did in the last episode, but are just going to a time and place to experience the culture and the environment. The Doctor aims for 1860, but the episode turns out to be set in 1869. This year, curiously, is a major one in Captain Jack's timeline. You see, after Jack was revived by Rose, the Doctor leaves him on Satellite 5 during the events of the Parting of the Ways around the year 200,000. There is an audio drama called The Year After I Lived, which explores Jack's experiences during this time. He eventually uses his vortex manipulator to return to Cardiff. He reasoned that as the TARDIS uses the rift for refueling, it would be his best chance of finding the Doctor again. However, instead of reaching his intended target of the 21st century, he ended up in 1869, where his vortex manipulator burned out.
He left me behind. I came here to find him. He refuels from that rift you have, hoping if I stayed here long enough, we'd find each other. So there I was, stranded in the year 200, 100, ankle deep in Dalek dust, and he goes off without me. But I had this. I used to be a time agent. It's called a vortex manipulator. He's not the only one who can time travel.
Oh, excuse me, that is not time travel.
I thought 21st century, the best place to find the Doctor, except I got it a little wrong. Arrived in 1869, this thing burnt out, so it was useless.
Told you.
So I went to the time rift, based myself there, because I knew you'd come back to refuel. Until finally, I got a signal on this detecting you, and here we are.
So unbeknown to the Doctor and Jack, they are both in the same area at the same time. Gwyneth comes to the call of Sneed and they chat about the events. Gwyneth, like Sneed, is surprisingly comfortable with this situation, and the dialogue is acted in a fun way.
Don't look at me like it's my fault. Now come on, hurry up. She was 86. She can't have got far.
The script for this episode was originally much bleaker and more frightening. However, Russell T Davies advised Mark Gatiss to make it more of a romp, which explains the behaviour of these two. The initial draft of the script was called The Cripping Well Horror, a title that would be similar to another Doctor Who story written by Mark Gatiss called The Crimson Horror. This scene between Gwyneth and Mr. Sneed was one of the few scenes added late in production due to the episode underrunning in length. Gwyneth talking about Rose's father and Charles Dickens asking if his works will last were two other scenes that were added to bump up the show's runtime. Gwyneth is played by Eve Miles. The actress would go on to play Gwen Cooper in the Torchwood spin-off and would appear in the Stolen Earth Journey's End Doctor Who episodes. In Journey's End, the Doctor and Rose talk about the fact that she resembles Gwyneth, calling it spatial genetic multiplicity.
Tell me, Gwen Cooper, are you from an old Cardiff family?
Yes, all the way back to the 1800s.
I thought so. Spatial genetic multiplicity, yeah. It's a funny old world.
Russell T Davies has explained that this does not mean that they have to be blood related, but that it's caused by means of an echo and repetition of physical traits across a time rift. Spatial genetic multiplicity could also be applied to several other instances throughout Doctor Who to cover the return of actors who played different parts. There are many examples in Classic Who and New Doctor Who, such as Peter Capaldi, Karen Gillan, Colin Baker, and the episode writer Mark Gatiss. Thank you for watching this Gatiss Part 1. Now I did say I'd talk about giveaways. You see, I want to say thank you for supporting my videos, but I do know that trading cards are all the rage at the moment. Now I don't know if you remember these Battles in Time cards. They're not in production anymore, but I just love them. Even the common cards have some amazing designs on them, or they're just pretty cool collector's items, and I'd love to give these out as giveaways. It would just be the common cards at first, but then I'd build up to more impressive cards as I hopefully pass subscriber milestones. Let me know if it's something you'd be interested in. I understand that maybe none of you will want these. And I know it's not much at all, but all you'd have to do is subscribe, and I'd also be giving away these cards for great comments which I happen to use in my videos. Either way, thanks for watching. Part 2 will be out in 48 hours on the 31st at 4 PM, and I'll be talking about Charles Dickens in Doctor Who and how the production team created this Victorian set. See you later.